Hello and welcome to the 14th video of Google Ads series. In this video, we will know the basics of conversion pixels in terms of what they are, what they do, and how to set up. Now, you might have already heard about conversion pixels and wondering what they are and what they are used for. Now, basically, conversion pixels are a small code which we generate from Google Ads, Facebook Ads, or any other ad platform, and then we place these pixels on our website. Now they help us in multiple ways. One of them is counting conversion. So for example, if I go here to our Google Ads account, and if you see that this Google Ads account had multiple campaigns running in the past, right? And once you run these campaigns as well, you will be able to see the clicks, impressions, the cost, and the spend and everything. And along with it, you will be able to see these conversions. So for example, this Soba lead gen campaign, it was designed to run a campaign for a project of Soba, which is a developer. And the objective was that people will click on the ad, go to the website or landing page, and then fill up a form. So the landing page looked like something like this, where people were clicking on the ad, they would go to this landing page about the details about this project. And the objective was these people will fill these lead forms and reach out to us so that we can kind of sell these apartments to them. So this is how Google counts conversions. In terms of e-commerce websites, it can be how many people bought a product. In terms of eToro, it would be how many people registered on their platform, and whatever we define as a conversion for different kind of advertisers. Now that's the first benefit of conversion pixels, which is they help us to count conversions. Now counting conversions is not just for reporting purposes, like in this case, it also helps us to optimize our campaigns towards these conversions, because once you have a conversion set up, for example, in terms of eToro, where we set up the conversion that whether it's wherever somebody clicks on the ad, goes to the landing page, they fill up a registration form, it is a conversion. Then we can also tell Google to optimize for these conversions. If you remember from the bidding strategies, we can use maximize conversions or target CPA, which is cost per acquisition. So you can only use those bidding strategies and optimize your campaigns for conversions, which is like the ultimate goal of every advertiser. But for that, you need to have a conversion setup done on your website and your ad account. The third one is creating remarketing lists. Now, unless you have these conversion pixels set up on your landing page and your conversion tags set up on your landing page, you will not be able to create remarketing lists and generate remarketing campaigns, which is the topic for the next video in this series, how to create remarketing campaigns, and then you will know more about them. For now, it's important to remember that conversion pixels help us to create remarketing lists and generate remarketing campaigns. So the first step is to generate the conversion pixels, and the second step is to actually implement them and test them. So for generating, what we do is you go here to tools and settings, then we go here to conversions. It's pretty straightforward. So then we'll click on new conversion action. It'll ask you select the kind of conversions you want to track. So you have to remember that you have to select website if you are tracking conversion on website, if you are using this conversion pixel on a website. In case of app, if for example your advertiser is an app, then in that case you'll have to select app, or you can additionally track phone calls if you have the phone number on your website, as well as you can import from Google Analytics, which we will discuss later in this series. For now, we have a website, which is this one, etoro.com. This is our landing page. So what we'll select is our website. Now, the second thing it'll ask you is for your website where you will implement this code. So I'll select this one. I'll copy the eToro and I will paste it here. Click on scan. Okay, once you click on scan, it'll take a while, and then it'll ask you if you want to automatically create website events, which I'll tell you later in this series. But for now, we will start with the manual, add conversion actions manually. Once you click on this, it'll ask you what is the action and goal and action optimization. So in our case, it is sign up or lead generation, because once you give your email address and details, it goes as a lead. So in that case, you will select here, which is submit a lead form. Now it why they ask this option is because sometimes you can create multiple conversion pixels for the same website. Let's say I'm an e-commerce website, so I will define multiple conversions on my website. One is people adding products to the cart, then I will add one more conversion which is actually making the payment and confirming the order. So in those cases, it will easily help you to define, because when you are optimizing your campaigns and counting conversions, you can select, okay, I just want to see conversions which are product buys, or I want to see product buys as well as add to cart, or optimize towards both. So it will help you in that, which we will discuss later. But in our case, we will just define one conversion action, but just for simplicity, and later we might add one more conversion event. So we will select this as submit lead form. Then it asks you for a conversion name because we just have one. So I'll name it submit lead form. It's pretty straightforward and self-explanatory. Then the second option you have here is value. Now measure the impact of your advertising by giving conversions a value. Now this is usually helpful for advertisers where people actually make a purchase on the website, and they, for example, in terms of e-commerce website, what people do is they buy something and they pay something. Let's say, for example, I go to Amazon.com or any other e-commerce website. If I buy a product, I have a value, or let's say I add multiple products to my cart, there will be a particular value I'll buy it for, and then make a purchase, which is a conversion. But this conversion is associated with a value. Now, if you want to report that value in Google Ads and optimize towards it, that's where you will optimize for ROAS, return on ad spend, if you remember the bidding strategy video. So that is possible only if you pass the value in your conversion pixels, right? So it helps in one, reporting, and you can optimize and bid for our target ROAS. But it's not just e-commerce. So for example, let's say I recently booked an eye test on a website. Now what happens is I need to make the payment while booking the appointment. So in those cases as well, they can pass this value. So what happens is in those cases, it gives you an option, use the same value for each conversion. If you, for example, are a website where any conversion is of the same value. But in case of you are a e-commerce website where what people buy will change the order value, then in that case you will select use different values. But in our case, it's a lead, so we will not associate any value with this lead. So I'll select don't use a value for this conversion action. Then it will ask you count, whether you want to count every conversion or just one for each person. So for example, this is helpful in case of let's say if we are a real estate client. Now if the same person for any reason fills 2 lead forms on the same landing page, probably they thought in the first, they refreshed quickly and they thought the lead was not submitted, they do it again. So in that case, we will count only one for each person because it's primarily one lead. They submitted it more than once, but it's primarily one lead. But in certain cases, you will count a lead for each, even if the same person fills the lead form twice. Let's say, for example, I want to book a ticket for a movie. I search for movie theaters around me, and I click on an ad, and I go to Inox website. I buy a ticket, and then I go back and my friends tell me that they want to come over to the movie as well. I go to Inox website again and I buy one more ticket. So in that case, Inox will select the option every, because every time even if the same person is buying it, it's a new lead, it's a new acquisition or conversion for them. But in our case, it is count only once. Then there is click through conversion window, engaged view. I would suggest to leave it default. What it means though is when we say click through conversion is 30 days, that means if somebody clicks on an ad from this ad account, and even after they directly come to the website in next 30 days, that conversion will still be attributed to this campaign. So for example, if I have a campaign now, eToro campaign, search campaign live now, somebody searches for Forex companies, they click on the eToro ad from this campaign and they go to the landing page, but they do not register. Later in next 30 days, anytime they come back directly to eToro website through any other ad or directly, organically, and they fill a lead form, Google will still associate the conversion for 30 days to this particular campaign, thinking that this campaign led to that conversion. Similarly, engaged view conversion would be if somebody watched a video on YouTube, video ad, and they did not skip it, and in the next 3 days if they convert, it will still be attributed to this campaign. You can change these days, so you can say, okay, you know what, click-through conversion should be only let's say 2 weeks, 1 week. So if somebody clicks on an ad and within 1 week they convert from any other source or any other ad, it should still be attributed to this campaign. But 30 days for click-through, and engaged view 3 days, and 1 day view-through conversion is recommended. Well, view-through would be somebody just saw your ad, they didn't click on it, and within 1 day they converted. Google says, okay, it's still attributed to this campaign because this ad led to this conversion. And then there is attribution model, which is data driven is recommended, and I suggest this one unless you have a custom attribution model developed in your company, which most of the companies don't, only the ones who have advanced tech teams do. And then we have attribution model, which is data driven. So let's say for example, somebody searches for Forex companies and they see our ad, eToro ad from this campaign, and they click on the ad, go to the website, and after 2 days they search again, they come back, and let's say after 3 days they saw a video ad, YouTube ad, and they click on it and come to the website, and let's say they come to the website through multiple ads. Now what attribution model does is, if for example at the last they again clicked on, let's say, a display ad, they clicked on it, come to the eToro website and fill up a lead form. What attribution model does is it's asking you, how do you want to attribute conversion to all these interactions, all these campaigns? So if you select last click, only the last ad that the user clicked on before converting, all the conversion, one conversion will be attributed to that campaign. Now in case which we discussed, let's say we have a search campaign and YouTube campaign. The user clicked on both and went to the website and converted. In that case, if we select data driven, Google will use machine learning to understand that, okay, you know what, the first ad was 25% responsible for this conversion and the second one is 75%. So 0.75 conversion will be attributed to the later campaign and 0.25 to the former. So that is what attribution model does, and then you click on done. So now if you see that within conversion goals, it's submit lead form and conversion name is submit lead. This has been created. You click on save and continue. Okay, so that was the first step, to create a conversion in within your Google Ads account. The second step is to use this conversion generate code, conversion pixels, and implement on your website. Now for that, there are 3 ways to do that. It depends on how much knowledge you have. It depends on how your company and teams are set up, and that's how that defines that which of the 3 steps you will use to implement the conversion pixels. The easiest one and the simplest one is the second one, which is email instructions to the webmaster. What you do is you click on the email address here. So for example, if your company has a website development team or a person who develops the website, which obviously there will be someone or some team. So you enter their email address here and click on done, and all the instructions will be sent to them with how to implement the code. Obviously you'll have to follow up with them and ask them to do it. That's the easiest way. The second way is using Google Tag Manager. Now, if you have access to Google Tag Manager or somebody in your company has access to Google Tag Manager, then you need to provide them this information, copy paste this information. It's very straightforward. For example, I'll just quickly show you how to do it in Tag Manager. So I go to Tag Manager. What they do is they go to tags and then they click on, let's say, new tag. They name it. Let's say I'll name it Google Ads, and then configuration, they will select Google Ads conversion tracking. It will ask these parameters, which you will directly copy from here. All of them are here: conversion ID, lead form, conversion label, and that's it. Then you will have to do a conversion linker tag, which is again straightforward. So you go here, then Once you save this tag, you generate another one, which is conversion linker here, and you save it and you are done. If you know Tag Manager, you will understand what I'm talking about. If you don't, just forget it, or just go through a video how to implement tags in Google Tag Manager. It'll be probably a 30 minutes video and it's straightforward. And that was the second way to implement the code. The third way is you click on this one, which is edit your website code. It will directly give you a code which you will have to put. For example, if you have access to WordPress backend of your website, you go to WordPress, there is a plugin called headers and footers. You click on that. In the header, you copy this code, create new header, copy this code there, and then so implementing the code is always, there are two parts. So this is the first one, which goes to all the, so if you do it yourself in WordPress, make sure that this needs to be implemented on all the pages. Even if Tag Manager, even if you're talking to developer, the instructions will already be sent, but just remember this, or somebody might ask you this in interview. So how many pieces of code you have in Google Tags. So there are two pieces of code. One is this one is called header or global site tag. This goes on all the pages of your website, and then you just directly copy it here and paste it. And then there is the conversion pixel. This is global site tag. This is the conversion pixel. So what you do is you click on see event snippet, and you copy it and you just paste it on the thank you page. So for example, in case of eToro here, when somebody does the registration, they click on continue and they click on save. They are redirected to a page which is thank you, your account is created or whatever. And generally that page has a particular address. It's called thank you page generally. So what you do is this event code goes to thank you page. Now in some cases, some websites do not have thank you page. So what happens is, for example, this one real estate client, if you fill all this information here, name, phone number, email, and click on send, the address of the URL will not change. It will just pop up a message, thank you. So in that case, what you do is you click here. So the event code has to be a click in. If you have a thank you page, then select page load and that code will be copied in the thank you page. If you do not have a thank you page, then you select the click option here, you copy this code and you tell the developer that this code needs to be triggered when somebody clicks on this send button. This one is a bit inaccurate because the problem with this is if somebody gives a phone number in a wrong format, they click on send and it says, unfortunately, please enter the correct phone number. The conversion pixel will still be fired and Google will count a conversion. If the user later does not fill this form, he's like, okay, just forget it. So Google Ads will count a conversion, but it happens very less, like maybe 0.5%. But that is how you create. The first step was to create the conversion event in the Google Ads. The second one is to implement. How do you implement? There are three ways, which I defined based on your knowledge and what kind of access do you have. And once you're done with all this, then we are left with only how to test the conversion pixel. So once you are done and the web developer says, okay, the conversion pixel is implemented, or you do it yourself and you're done with Tag Manager. So to test that, there is an easy way to add Google Tag Legacy Tag Assistant. This is a Chrome extension. You need to add it to your Chrome and this will look like this. And once you are done with the pixels, what you do is you click on this extension, click on enable, and you refresh the page basically. Once you refresh the page, you click on this, it will show you how many tags are firing on this particular page. Now in our case, we will go to our Tag Manager, we will see this code, for example. So this is AW4140174. So if this conversion pixel was implemented on this page, you will see this code here. So for example, I don't have access to this and I don't have access to eToro to show you how will this look on eToro website, but it's that straightforward. So you just see the code here and then you go to the website, you click on this tag assistant and you see if the same code is passed, it will show you Google site tag and this code will be here somewhere. And then what you do is additionally, that is one step, that is when you see that the global site tag is firing. On the thank you page, or if you don't have a thank you page, you fill the lead form yourself, and in that case you will have one additional code here with the same code, but it will not say Google site tag, it will say Google Ads conversion tag. And that is it. So that was all about conversion pixels. It's probably one of the most difficult topics and people are scared of this topic, but it's probably that straightforward. However, it gets complicated in terms of, let's say, app tracking or e-commerce tracking. Not complicated, it's just you have multiple codes, one for add to cart, one for thank you page or order confirmation, and you have to ask developers to pass the values of the costs and all, which we will cover later in this series. But if you understand the basics of this, that should not be difficult as well. That's all for this video. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next one.